The OCTA Research Group has suggested shorter intervals between two doses of COVID-19 vaccines that are made by Sinovac and AstraZeneca. This as the country races against time to prevent the spread of the Delta variant. We have Dr. Rontgene Solante of the Vaccine Expert Panel joining us via Zoom to discuss this further. Good afternoon, Dr. Rontgene. OCTA's father, Nick Austriaco, has proposed to shorten the gap between the two doses of Sinovac from 28 days to just 14 days, and with AstraZeneca's jab to just 8 weeks from the original 12 weeks. What's your take on this?
Yes, Sean. For Sinovac, the dose interval is 28 days. If you decrease the interval to 14 days, then you will also decrease the efficacy of the vaccine. And that's why I think it's not logical to decrease the dose with Sinovac from 28 days to 14 days, because that's the maximum interval by which we can get optimum protection, which is 28 days. For Astra, the currently approved dose is 9 to 12 weeks, but in UK, because of this Delta variant, they were able to shorten it to as low as 8 weeks. So again, 8 and 9 weeks may be just a bit not so significant interval, so probably we can work on that. That's my opinion on this.
Right, so in your opinion, Sinovac, it's best to stick to 28 days, but for AstraZeneca, we can lower it to just about 2 months from the original 3 months. But Doc, this might be your personal opinion, but you are part of the Vaccine Expert Panel. What do the latest studies say about extending or shortening these intervals between the first and second doses of COVID-19 vaccines?
I would say that will still be the same decision comes when we have the VEP meeting, because we already approved this dose interval, which also has basis why we are implementing this dose interval, and that is really to optimize protection.
Right, so you already said that the shortened interval could affect the efficacy of some COVID-19 vaccines. The one in question that we're talking about, of course, is Sinovac. Can you again explain, just for the benefit of everyone listening and watching us today, how this could affect the efficacy of vaccines? And what is really the importance of sticking to the recommended interval?
Sticking to the recommended interval is the interval that has been approved based on the EUA approval, because there was this evidence that this is the interval with a higher efficacy compared to the 14 days. So that's the main reason why we can just say that we can shorten the interval, because the efficacy will also suffer even if you vaccinate the shortest interval and faster vaccination.
Right, so all this is being floated because of the threat of the Delta COVID-19 variant. In your opinion, is there any benefit at all to fast tracking the vaccinations or getting 2 doses of a specific vaccine, of course, amid the threat of Delta?
That's the most important interventions that we can really offer now, ramping up the vaccination and especially encouraging, especially the A2 and the A3 population, because I think these are the population that is the most vulnerable in getting the infection. And when they get the infection, especially if they are not vaccinated, then they're also the higher risk to be hospitalized and will develop severe COVID.
All right, now the OCTA group is also calling for a 2-week circuit breaker lockdown in Metro Manila or the capital region. They want this done sooner rather than later for it to be more effective. Do you think this is the right move? I want to get your thoughts on this, Doc.
Yeah, personally, Sean, no, I'm not always in favor of citywide lockdown. Okay, and I always believe in what we call the granular lockdown, community lockdown, specific community or barangay where there are clusters of cases, whether it's a variant or a non-Delta variant related, over that of a citywide or a province-wide lockdown.
Right, from an epidemiology and infectious diseases point of view, should these be, or should lockdowns like granular lockdowns and circuit breaker lockdowns be enough?
I think the earlier that we can implement it, because the critical part here is really the contact tracing and finding the cases that were in direct contact with those positive. The other important part here is that when you have a patient that is positive, how soon that positive patient will be reported to the contact tracer, to the LGU, so that they can get and have the contact tracing the soonest possible time. And these are the gaps that we have been experiencing for the past years now, that the results are late to come in, and then the contact tracing committee or the contact tracing group in the LGU gets the result very like 2 to 3 weeks from the positive. And when you get to have this result 2 to 3 weeks from the time that these people are positive, then that's the difficulty there of getting the contact tracing, because most of them are already outside of that community or has been transmitting the infection elsewhere.
All right, thank you so much for your time and your insights. Dr. Rontgene Solante, a member of the Vaccine Expert Panel, thank you so much for joining us today.